And another explosion somewhere. And I see the smoke is going towards Temirka. Now, well, the sun is shining. I can't see anything. And the smoke is quite significant. Very significant.
A series of explosions rocked temporarily occupied Donetsk. Online reports indicate strikes in one of the city's districts. Earlier today, loud blasts were heard in temporarily occupied Donetsk. Reports suggest that at least 5 explosions occurred in the city. According to residents, the blasts took place in the Petrovsky district. A strike hit the base of the Russian occupiers. Reports say that air defense had been actively operating beforehand. Photos shared by eyewitnesses show a massive column of gray smoke rising into the sky, indicating significant impacts. Information about casualties or damage from the attack is not yet available.
And another explosion somewhere. And I see the smoke is going towards Temirka. Now, well, the sun is shining. I can't see anything. And the smoke is quite significant. Very significant.
Something keeps exploding there frequently.
It feels like this is...
Ammunition depot is burning.
A Ukrainian Air Force Mi-8 crew shot down Russian Shahed 136 and Garand drones with onboard machine gun fire during one of the latest air attacks. Over the past year, shooting down Russian drones with helicopters has become a Ukrainian specialty. Faced with waves of Shahed drones, Ukrainian Air Force units began adapting their tactics, using Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters to intercept low-flying targets at night. Unlike traditional air defense systems, helicopters can quickly change altitude and direction, chasing drones across fields and river valleys. Pilots rely on powerful searchlights, thermal cameras, and rapid-fire guns to engage, often destroying multiple drones in a single mission. This approach has proven both cost-effective and highly efficient, turning helicopters into mobile air defense platforms. What started as an improvised response is now a regular tactic, showcasing Ukraine's creativity in countering Russia's drone warfare. Prominent Russian sources are warning that soldiers returning from Ukraine, many of them with PTSD and unable to find jobs, are prime candidates for recruitment into crime and terrorism, especially highly skilled drone operators. Former Roscosmos head Dmitry Rogozin notes that in just one Russian drone unit, there are dozens of highly qualified pilot operators with hundreds of combat sorties and thousands of flight hours, with more having already returned home after completing their contract. He questions what they will do after the war. In modern cities, there are hundreds of thousands of different surveillance cameras, servers with software for decrypting numbers and recognizing faces, but all of them will be useless if suddenly illegal actions are committed by highly qualified UAV operators with extensive combat experience. Who is watching you and from where? Who flew in and when and where from? Where did they fly away? How was the drone controlled? From what distance? Was a repeater used or not? Was it day, night, or twilight? Was there remote mining? Was a magnetic influence fuse installed on the bomb? Which door, window, or vent did the drone fly into? Was the drone interceptor objectively monitoring the work of the destroyer drone? Are all these questions of interest to competent law enforcement officers? Have they ever thought that one day they will have to look for answers to them? Do they even understand anything about this? Do they understand it? I will ask myself again, why am I saying this? I will answer myself. It is not we who should ask ourselves these questions and give answers to them, but those on whom we rely in matters of ensuring public safety and law and order. Are they monitoring what happened at the front? Do they understand that advanced military technologies have appeared that, under certain circumstances, can also be used for criminal purposes? Do investigators from the FSB, Investigative Committee, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs understand this issue? Do they understand what is what? Do they have the appropriate specialists and the ability to counteract or at least establish the facts? The war will end sooner or later, and our soldiers will go home. The war will end briefly and will soon flare up with even greater force. And my guys will take up the fight again. I am confident in them. But I cannot answer for everyone else. Therefore, it would be advisable for officials to reread this post, think about it, become interested in the problem and start cooperating with specialized army and volunteer units that have mastered the technology of unmanned, remotely operating systems. Two majors agrees and admits, of course, we will have a huge problem after the return of hundreds of thousands of frontline soldiers with PTSD, much worse than it was after Chechnya or Afghanistan. And the guys themselves say that on vacation or when communicating with civilians, they feel unnecessary there, in peaceful life. Unfortunately, resocialization programs are still in their infancy. Frontline soldiers often do not know where to go if they end up at home. The guys write to us and the volunteers, worried that they are not needed at home and will not find a job with the same salary. Quotas are allocated. Employers are obliged to hire our heroes. But for this process to be structured right, this is not the case. It's capitalism. You're on your own. Comrade Rogozin, being the head of a high-tech unit, sees risks of a new nature, previously unknown to law enforcement and special services in the rear. Drones. And indeed, the strategists have already lost out during an enemy special operation. And after all, less protected objects can already become the target. And we are not talking about terrorism, but about the risks of the participation of a UAV operator with combat experience in criminal showdowns. No one is saying that a veteran equals crime, but a lot of people have already been to the front. And in a year, the current frontline soldiers will return. Some tiny percentage already amounts to hundreds of people. And here is the main question. Are we, as a country, as a state, taking enough measures to take our heroes back and integrate them into our society? Are the internal affairs agencies, and not only them, now thinned out by the personnel crisis, ready? Such reflections should result not in demonstrative measures and individual regulatory legal acts, which are happening now, but in systemic state measures. By the way, while we were typing, the thought occurred to me that our special services could theoretically soon begin investigating, for example, the liquidation of particularly brazen and overfed heads of diasporas, organized crime groups, using drones.
No one
in the world has done more than Trump to end the Russia-Ukraine war, says Rubio.
No one in the world has done more to try to end the Ukraine-Russia war than President Trump has. But ultimately, it takes the two sides who are fighting to agree to it. And as you've said, and as you've pointed out, we haven't been able to get those kinds of results from the Russian side. But again, that's not Trump's war. Trump inherited this war, and now President Trump is doing everything he can to try to bring it to an end.
Solovyov and his delusional comrades. Russian state TV propagandists now claim Western leaders are bringing a nuclear catastrophe closer, suggesting strikes on Ukraine or Poland. They frame it as a supposed global desire to destroy civilization for disobeying Russia.
Am I correct in understanding that Macron wants to go down in history as France's last president? And there will be no one to write France's history in the event of a nuclear war?
But the thing is, with such steps, they are getting closer and closer to the moment when either on the territory of Ukraine or on the territory of Poland, where all these forces will be stationed, a nuclear strike will be launched, initially with tactical nuclear weapons. And in this regard, I would like to ask a question to both political figures and the military. Are you bringing this moment closer? As for Kellogg's statements, like they wouldn't dare. Oh, we would dare. You won't even have time to realize it. You won't even have time to realize it, and we would dare. Because all of this is practiced in all real training exercises.
Well, just to the point of automatism.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.